Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I teach and have been doing so for the past 13 years. Most parents are just fine. They care for and love their children and treat me and my colleagues with respect. You have the occasional parents you don't see because, well, they don't care. The helicopter or curling parent. And the parent who doesn't believe they are raising Satan's offspring. The latter is the one I had the misfortune to deal with for 2 fulfilling years. I was a mentor to 20 kids in their first 2 years of secondary school. It has its ups and downs, with the biggest up being that you knew every fiber of every kid in 2 years of relative hell if you had kids who were a nightmare. A kid started secondary school with me as a mentor. He started out alright. There were some minor things that were normal for teenagers trying to fit in. It all started after the Christmas holidays of the first year. Nothing special happened. It's like a switch just flipped inside this kid. Bullying classmates and other students, pushing around, being extremely disruptive in class, cursing at teachers, grabbing things to the point we suspected he stole things from teachers and students alike. While lack of security cameras was a problem, Mom and Dad were invited many times. The school counselor and my boss sat in on many of these conversations. The mother denied that her son did such things. We didn't get any further but had no grounds to expel the son. Summer break came, and due to the fact that a lot of things went missing, cameras were set up. Classes started in year 2, and on the first day he let me know he was there and had changed. For the worse. We had 5 calls with Mom in that first week alone. Mom was invited once more and she was surprised that I was the only teacher complaining. Like, what the actual heck, lady? Did you not listen that multiple teachers complained through me and that I told you multiple times what they said to you? No. She demanded that she got a call or email from the teachers herself if her son did do anything. And I quote, "But I highly doubt that since I know my son won't ever do the things you said." Fuming at this point, I said I would talk to my colleagues. Cue the malicious compliance. Mommy wanted a call or email from the teacher who saw her son doing/saying things he shouldn't. You ask, and we get it. The kid was being such an a-hole by now, he was well known throughout the school. So in a next school-wide meeting, I told her demand. Some frowns here and there, but then I saw it. Eyes glistening. Evil grins started to come along with the evil laughter of teachers. By this time, the kid had set a record in the digital student entry system. 20 entries a day from him alone. It all started the next day. The kid came onto the school property, walked up to a classmate and started insulting him and his mother with cancer. 2 teachers heard and saw him do that. So 2 teachers sent an email to Mommy Dearest. 3 periods of lessons with a variety of terrible behavior. 3 emails were sent yet again. During the first week, the kid threw a bin through the canteen. 3 teachers and a custodian saw it. 4 emails about it. Then a custodian emailed again, telling him that he refused to clean up after him and threw a chair before leaving. Another 5 periods for that day with 6 teachers. Science had 2 teachers, so, well, you guessed it, 6 emails and 3 phone calls to Mommy Dearest. So on average, Mommy got 15 emails a day from the teachers alone. I had the immense pleasure to call or email every day to give a recap. Every email was sent with a read notification, so every email, Mommy had to click on that message every single time. After 2 weeks, Mom called and the conversation went like this. "Yeah, I saw the emails. This is getting a bit much now." Is it? But the last time we spoke here at school, he demanded that every teacher and other worker at school would call/send you an email about the goings-on of your kid. We are simply adhering to your request to be kept up to date and that you hear from my colleagues personally. You can stop now. Unfortunately, we can't, since your kid does all these things. It's our duty to keep parents up to date on what their child does at this school. Also, you requested it, but we don't want you to get upset by not knowing what is going on with the kid. This is getting out of hand. Is it? I don't think so. My colleagues even said that they like it so much that you're such an involved parent and that you like to hear from them. Thank you for that. Bye now. Click. This went on for another 8 weeks. Mom called or emailed a couple of times a week and got the same response from me and other teachers and personnel. It went like this until the kid screwed up on a big scale. While we were busy getting all kinds of help around the kid, he finally bombed every chance to stay at our school. The kid decided that shouting, cursing, insulting, and wishing the worst possible diseases upon my colleagues and me weren't enough anymore. When I wanted to talk to him yet again about his behavior, he picked up a chair and decided to hit me with it. In full view of the class, a colleague, and the cameras. The kid was tackled and pinned down by classmates. A colleague called the cops, who have their lovely station across the street, got the kids out of the kid, and I managed to get away with no broken bones but some big bruises. The school filed charges for him. The fun part is that I got to sit with mommy dearest and dad, and even then she tried to deny that her son would do such a thing. Until she and dad got to see the footage, the look on their faces was priceless. I wish I had the permission to record it so that I could watch it time and again with a soda and some popcorn. The kid was expelled, got some hefty community service, and a fine, normal here. He got a juvenile record as well. To answer a likely question, where was the dad in all of this? The dad was apparently kept in the dark about what the kid did. The emails were sent to a shared email account, but since the email on phones wasn't a thing back then, he never saw the emails as she hid them. The dad divorced the mom as apparently she had been spinning a lot of lies about a lot of things. The good part? The dad felt so sorry for what his son had done that he sent care packages for all personnel at the school. The best part? We didn't have to deal with the kid or the mom ever again. We got his brother though and continued the emails and calls with dad to tell him what a wonderful kid this boy was. ETA? I'm getting a lot of criticism that I did nothing to help this kid. I left out what I did as this is malicious compliance. I talked with the school counselor, therapists, and even CPS. We had our suspicions about his behavior. I just had my degree for 3 years, and I know the sudden change is a huge red flag. CPS did an investigation and concluded no reason for further action. I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that the parents agreed to a visit from CPS but not accept anything else, even though CPS suggested they talk with us about some tests and getting the kids some help. We kept reporting to the CPS and asking for their help. The only thing mom kept saying was, "My son wouldn't do that. He isn't like that." Did she know something? Maybe. I talked with the kid, treated him fairly and honestly, tried to see what was going on, referred him to people who he could turn to, who although they are mandated reporters, had a confidentiality clause meaning I don't hear anything he doesn't want me to know. They went to talk to him and he just told them to F off. School administration had my back and helped where they could. I jumped through every hoop possible just to see how and if I could help him. So please cut me some slack. I did what I could, and I still wonder if I could have done some more. Was it abuse? Could be. I hope not, but it's possible. Maybe some mental health issues that reared their head. Also, a possibility. Did mom know something if something happened? Who knows? Or was she just a mother who loves her child so much she's willing to overlook every wrongdoing of her son? I don't know. To get certain help, you need a paper trail. One part of which is that parents know about the issues. We may have gone far, but we didn't want the mom to say that we didn't contact her in any form. He was a good kid, he just did wrong things, and there was no stopping him. He had a mother who defended his every action. I just hope that he has a decent life now, a healthy life with happiness in it. This story still gets me riled up every time I think about it. It's about this encounter I had with a woman who I can only describe as the epitome of entitlement. Let me set the scene for you. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon and I had just finished my weekly grocery shopping. That's when the madness unfolded. The encounter. So I'm walking to my car parked in the lot of the local supermarket. It's a pretty busy day and spots are hard to come by. I'm just about to load my groceries when I hear a voice. "Excuse me, are you leaving?" A woman in her late 30s with an impatient look calls out from her car. She's got 2 kids in the back who seem as restless as she is. "Yeah, but give me a minute to load up my groceries." I reply, thinking nothing of it. She scoffs. "Could you hurry up? I need this spot." I'm a bit taken aback by her tone, but I decide to let it slide. I'll be just another minute. I am loading the last of my bags when suddenly she gets out of her car and walks over to me. "You know, some people have kids and need to get home. You should be more considerate." I'm trying to keep my cool now. I understand, but I'm almost done here. The escalation. That's when things take a turn. "I don't have time for this," she snaps. I'm taking this spot whether you like it or not." Before I can even react, she reaches into her purse, pulls out a set of keys, and starts scratching the side of my car. I'm in shock. What the heck are you doing? Her kids are watching from the car and I can't believe what's unfolding. "You're taking too long. I need this spot," she yells, continuing to vandalize my car. I am fuming now. "Stop that right now. I am calling the police." She stops and glares at me. "Go ahead. They won't do anything. Now move your car." I quickly pull out my phone and start dialing, all while keeping an eye on her. The police arrive within minutes. I explain the situation and they turn to her. She puts on a show, playing the victim. "You refused to give me the spot. I have kids and groceries. He was just being unreasonable," she sobs. Thankfully, a couple of bystanders come over. That's not what happened. She scratched his car because he wouldn't move it. The police turn back to her and her face falls. Long story short, she ends up getting arrested for vandalism. The cops tells me I can press charges and I'm just standing there trying to process the whole ordeal. Her car is towed and I'm left with the sight of my scratched up car. As I drive home, it hits me how some people feel so entitled that they will resort to anything to get what they want. It was a crazy day, one that I will probably never forget. Let me tell you, it's made me look at parking lots a whole lot differently. I used to work at a gas station. Me, being only 20 at the time, I needed a job since I was new to my area after moving from one state to another. And the job was good. The manager, she was awesome. She was the sweetest thing before she left, and the manager after was just as awesome before I moved to a new apartment. But the previous assistant manager when I started working there, let's call him Richard. For obvious reasons. Let's call the first manager Angel. Obviously not the real name. Richard was known to be a very hostile, creepy jerk when not around the manager, and made us try to do his load of work and blamed us for being lazy when we couldn't do it in our jobs fast enough. My co-workers and I had brought the situation to the higher-ups numerous times. As much as she wanted us to be heard, Angel couldn't do anything, and it came to a boiling point 2 months down the line on my end. Little fact about me, I am timid, I'm autistic, I get very sick to my core and lack breathing if I have to deal with that, and I use that to my advantage. On the shift I was supposed to be working that day, I had asked my friend Cross, not real name, if I could borrow his speaker to listen to my music. My manager said as long as I can do my job behind the register, and Cross was okay with it. I can listen to my music. And I asked specifically if I can borrow it to take home for a couple of days until my new speaker came in that I brought with a previous paycheck. Cross said okay, and shift change happened, and Richard came in. He sees me listening to my music and he asks me to play his music from his phone on Cross's speaker. I said no, the speaker is mine for the next couple of days, and I don't want to be held responsible for any damage. He then whispers under his breath for me to hear, but for the cameras in the store to not pick it up. "I have a knife, you know?" And I basically in a single moment, and quickly too, came up with a way to end this nonsense. The revenge. I yelled at him loud enough so the cameras can pick it up. Knowing that he would have to say something to defend himself. "Why are you threatening me with a knife?" I kinda had that mixture of fear, if he actually had one, and determination to make this man suffer for me and my co-workers' verbal, abusive, and sexual harassment for the past couple months. He backed away and said, Hey, it was just a joke, chill out." And I knew I had to do something because at that point I said, "A joke? Huh? Here's a good joke. Have fun working alone. I quit." I walked out, called my mother who I lived with nearby, explained the situation in tears after the adrenaline and fear finished its end. I then was told and called my manager to explain to her the situation. I then told her that I knew he had the knife on him because I saw a pocket knife in the office, and it was a custom one with his name on it. Me and my mom, after she picked me up and took me back to the store to talk with my manager, I wound up in a situation with the manager, the branch manager, and the district manager asking about what happened. And I explained it again, calmer now and in full. And they asked if I was okay. I told them no. I have a guy who has been sexually harassing my other co-workers, verbally assaulting me, and the others tried to threaten an autistic person who did nothing except say no to using a speaker, get threatened with a knife. I don't feel safe with him around. They asked me about the speaker and I called Cross and he confirmed. I asked to borrow the speaker overnight and backed me up with what the assistant manager has done in the past. And at that point, police were called and they checked the cameras and heard me yelling about the knife. After a few months, I come to learn that he got fired from his last job and arrested for them finding out that he was in jail for threatening physical harm to a disabled person, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and unauthorized concealed weapon. He wanted a speaker, he got a speaker. A few speakers on a podium, who put his butt in jail about a week after. This happened to me quite some time ago when I was sharing a small 2-bedroom house with another guy from college. The house was divided into 2 bedroom/bathroom areas with a living room and a kitchen in between. We shared these spaces without issue for about 2 years. We didn't have problems with food storage, food sharing, and so on. It really was a good living arrangement because we both just worked, I went to our classes, and played video games on a weekend or had a couple friends over. Pretty normal stuff. Well, Harry, not his real name, started drinking too far in our junior year. Way too far. Completely recused to his bedroom only, pretty much only coming out at off hours to get food or throw trash away. Cans and cans of beer just stacked ceiling high. He moved his TV and console into his bedroom instead of the living room. Started being very particular about food and went through phases of eating nothing but fast food, Taco Bell and KFC, and then eating nothing but these weird juice drinks from a coffee shop down the road. Didn't want me storing my snacks near his items anymore. It was just weird. Doing his chores, kept going to classes and didn't really care that alcoholism was taking over his life. Me, my friends and I had a lot of conversations with him. His parents came down and saw him, his advisor got involved, and nobody really took it seriously because he was still working, still passing classes, still showing up. So we just tried to take care of him the way we could at home. Stopped bringing alcohol over from friends and so on. Kept help information out on the table and so on. Here is where the issue started really affecting me directly eventually. So his weird food thing then turned into taking all of my own food. I was really pissed about it because we have been living issue-free around this topic and he clearly had no issue buying his own stuff. This went on for way longer than it should have, before I got fed up and did something about it. Talks didn't work, labeling didn't really deter him, and I ended up keeping my non-perishables in my room and only kept things I planned on eating day off in the fridge or freezer. It made coming home and trying to figure out lunches and dinners more stressful than it should have been. One day I got a wild urge and decided I was going to douse him with spicy food so hot he'd think twice before eating my stuff again. It would without fail steal any Asian/noodle anything I had in the fridge or the freezer. So one day, I bought some fresh shrimp and decided I would make extra spicy noodles for him to eat. Steal, actually. I made my dinner that night and ate it, fried shrimp and some noodles/vegetables. And then made the second portion of the shrimp and noodles, but made the noodle sauce very spicy with a little bit of pepper extract and pepper oil. Here is the funny part, I packaged the noodles up in the fridge like I would have if it was my meal prep. And I ended up leaving the fried shrimp on a counter overnight. I meant to, of course, package the shrimp with the noodles as part of the meal. Well, he did in fact steal my food when he came in the next early morning. He worked until 3 a.m. some nights, including the shrimp that had been sitting overnight on the counter, probably at least 8 hours or so at that point, if not a little more. He had violent diarrhea and vomiting probably 3 hours after he ate his stolen meal. I woke up to him vomiting in the kitchen sink because he was getting a glass of water and another round hit him. I said, "Man, are you okay? What's wrong?" He goes, "Man, I think it was a shrimp on the counter." I was confused and then remembered. I said, "Oh, the shrimp I made last night? I forgot to put him up?" He said, "Yeah, man, I ate it when I got in from work and didn't think twice about when you had made them. Bad move on my part." I was fighting a laughing fit. I asked him if needed anything and he said nah, he was fine. He slipped it off, rehydrated himself, and we never had an issue with him eating my food again for the last year and a half we lived together.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.